I think he appears pretty early on in the manga, but I haven't really seen anything about him that much. Maybe, you know what the biggest thing was in this manga, which I didn't really care for? The main character is a Deku clone, but like way more boring, because Deku is a boring character, right? People that like to disagree on that, but Deku is a boring character, bro. If he didn't have a fucking incredible quirk, he would have been the most boring ass MC as ever, bro. Like, he cries, he's always anxious, he's such a fucking unmanly man. It's so frustrating to watch. Like, he's supposed to be the successor of All Might, right? And he's a fucking crying mess all the time. Or at least before the war broke out, right? Because pressure builds a man. So the war arc should have either been earlier on in the show, but that wouldn't make a lot of sense, right? But Deku just doesn't have a lot of growth in the show, like mentally, until like the war arc, after he, you know, literally becomes a fucking menace, right? Everyone knows manga Deku is a menace, right? I don't know if the anime is that far yet, but yeah. He literally changed so much when the war started, and that's when he started becoming interesting, bro. Because he had like a let's call it. I'm trying to think of the words, but I can't explain it. He stopped being a pussy. I guess that's how I want to say it. Deku stopped being a pussy, and that's what he needed, bro. Because so many people say, "Oh, Deku is cool. He's great. He should cry because blah blah blah." Like, no. I don't want my fucking MC to cry every fucking 3 episodes. Like, no. Because I already made this argument a lot about, like, on Twitter threads and stuff. Like, think about, like, the MCs of the big 3, right? Think of Ichigo. Ichigo cries, I don't know. I don't even remember the last time he cried. I think when he lost his powers and were, like... No, he wasn't even depressed about that. He just lost his powers and he was like, alright, it is what it is, right? And then we have like Naruto, who like cries when literally his reanimated father tells him happy birthday, you know? Like, that shit, you know, that matters. I get why you would cry about that. And then Luffy, he cries because he lost his brother, you know? I get why he cries. But Deku, I just don't ever understand why he cries. It's so fucking pathetic. I hate it, you know? That's what I hate about Deku. He's so fucking pathetic. Like, he's supposed to be a superhero. He's supposed to be the fucking manliest man around. Meanwhile, he's a fucking crying mess sometimes, bro. And even with like comedic elements where he just, you know, crying for the, you know, for a comedic effect, but it just doesn't hit. It just doesn't. And I guess I will never like Deku because of that, and I will never put Deku above like a lot of other characters or MCs, you know? Simply because even though he changed now, and I feel like he changed for the better, he started off as an annoying, fucking pathetic boy, right? He might be a more manly now, right? But he started off as such an annoying fucking brat that cried all the time for no reason at all. Such an emotional fucking mess. And some people like that about him. I don't know, but I don't. I want my main MCs to be a fucking menace, alright? I want them to be a badass. I want them to be stoic. I want them to be manly. I want them to be, you know, mentally strong, mentally capable. But Deku never had that for me, I guess.